Okay, so this recording is for the May 2021 meeting. This is the open Q&A section. Anybody have any questions still for Ed about collinears or antennas, anything about the Stars Club, anything about anything? We'll leave it open for a while and it's your session. Who has what? Just open your mouth.
Yeah, Ed, this is KD8 SMH, George Lee. What about in space? Like antennas for the International Space Station. Would they, because they're in a different medium, they're not in air. How would you tune for that?
I did work for Space Systems Loral. Yes, a very good question. So it's going to be a little bit longer because we have an atmosphere here, right? It's not real thick, but sure, if your 2-meter antenna would be somewhere around 19 to 20 inches in space because they don't have the atmosphere. You know how we did that? We pumped the vacuum chamber and tuned them. And then after a while, they developed good enough models. Yes, yeah, that was quite an interesting problem. There's you pump a vacuum as much as you can, and then you tune an antenna, and it's never perfect. But that's how they do it. But that's a good question. Because, we do have about, the actual, if you calculate it, it's about 19 inches, right? So you guys probably don't notice this. When you actually calculate C is equal to F lambda and you use 3 times 10 to the 8th meters a second, you're always trimming it. I used to notice this when I was a kid, just making antennas, not knowing what I was doing, dipoles. And you don't notice at HF because the frequency is so low. But at VHF, why is it that I always go by the formula and it never is quite right, but it's always trimmed? Well, I believe it's just because the atmosphere. When you use 3 times 10 to the 8th, that's in a vacuum.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very good question. I hope that answers it. Any more?
Ed, yeah, it was West KG7 QXC. I got one of your roll-ups here, that I take out in the field with me all the time. And I see your design, say you look at it, the notches in it on one side, then the other side, it's
right.
It says explains a lot when you put it up there when you're explaining it, because I said, well, what the hell is all this for? But I found
that's right. You know how many people have complained? Oh, it's got to be dozens maybe not yet, dozens. My antenna is broken, you sent me. The mail, I said, it's got a notch cut out. And, I'm ready to say, you didn't read the article, number one, that's okay. But you really think that some accidental tool through the mail without any marks on the package will have a little notch like this? I swear, on eBay, some guy says, I've got had a complaint. You sent me a broken antenna and they want to return it. I said, well, before you return, here's the article. Question is, does it work? And if I say, hey, it works great. I go, then there's probably a reason for that notch, right?
It does work.
I mean, Wes, would you think if you saw that, would you think that's an accident that by sending it to you, an animal bit it off? Or would you come up with a reason, there must be an engineering reason why that notch is there?
Yeah, well, I would come up with a reason there has to be a notch there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people, I showed it to a friend of mine. He says, well, get this antenna so you can just hang it up there. It's easy to do it, hang it outside your window, whatever. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And I showed him this here. He says, well, what's wrong with your antenna? What do you mean? It says it's got a notch out. Well, it's designed to have one.
built that way.
Yeah, exactly. And but he got one and it works fine for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we tune them pretty well. So they usually work pretty well. And we've experimented with a lot of different materials. And again, we have a really cool network analyzer that we can use now a 5062, which that's a great unit, man. A Keysight. Right. Oh, have you guys ever seen one? That's a beautiful unit. And plus you get a PC. It's kind of an expensive PC computer, right? Because it runs off of Windows. You guys have probably seen these new ones are all software based. They're all software based. So the 8753 is a hardware based one, so it's a lot heavier. And it's so software based. It's power supply. It's just a PC power supply, switching power supply in there. So it's just a PC that boots up with all the hardware.
Say, Ed.
Yeah.
So if you have one of the coil ups, and you wanted to stiffen it, you couldn't stick it in a pipe, stick it in a PVC pipe because of velocity factor. How would you do that if you wanted to have a temporary, like if you do mountaintop? How would you do that?
Hey, you're not the first guy that asked that question. We don't have one. Yeah, we don't have a roll-up one like that. If you want to do it in a mountaintop with some, for one thing, you don't need gain on a mountaintop, right? A good half wave, again, will do just fine. We've done tests on this. It would do just fine. If you want gain at that point, make yourself a little beam.
I actually have a question. I have an answer to that, I think.
Yeah.
Just for summits on the air. So if you have a wire antenna, basically is what you're talking about. What we do is we take a small fiberglass pole, fishing pole, or you can buy with the flex, collapsible. That's what we do to put a wire up in the air. So I'd imagine you could just do this. All it is a wire antenna, basically. And then you're still in open space. You probably get a tiny bit of something, velocity next to that, but it's open air.
Yeah, but I think what George is saying, how do you put a coil? Can you make it portable? Well, in that case, go back to my original design with the half wave delay line with the twin lead. Then you can roll it all up.
Right.
It's a coil because you'll screw up the coil, right? It's got to be in a PVC pipe to hold its rigidity.
I was thinking about
So it's vertical.
field work.
But again, for vertical at UHF, it's only 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
You can use that as a walking stick. Double it up as a walking stick.
I was thinking about field work. That's what I was interested in.
Yeah, if it's field work, it's only 3.5 feet.
Yeah.
The antenna's not very tall. That's what 2 elements. You couldn't do it at VHF. Then it's tall. At VHF, it's going to be almost 12 feet. Or with the coil, 8 feet. I mean, that's too tall. That's why for VHF, you can make collinears like this. But I have not sold them at all because I think that's impractical. It's just too tall. The PVC pipe, right, starts bending at that point. Then fiberglass is stronger in terms of bending, and then of course the cost goes up. Okay, any other questions? You guys can go back to sleep then.
Yeah.
Right, you guys are on Pacific.
Yeah, Pacific.
You're in
They're
Pacific
going to
time.
get on for the 7QP program.
Say that again.
There's a contest, the 7th area district contest. They're probably gonna
Oh,
do it.
really? I'll have to get on.
Yes.
I have
Okay.
a question. This is KI7FNX, John. If you paint the pole, does it affect it much?
Great question. Oh, yes. I had one of my students do his thesis on painting, the velocity factors and effects of antennas on paints. And okay, after long research, if you're going to paint the antenna, use Krylon spray paint.
Okay,
Krylon was the brand.
that's the best.
Yep. Krylon, one coat doesn't affect it. And the way you can tell is, the theory behind the velocity factor. Measure the antenna where it resonates, with your nano VNA or whatever you're using. Exactly now, down to as fine as you can get, to the tens of kilohertz. You'll find spray it one coat. What do you think will happen if you measure it very precisely?
Yes.
It will, because the velocity factor's going down, then the resonance is going to go up, right?
Go down. Go down. You're slowing down the speed of light.
Right. It's gonna go down, right?
So what you'll find is it wouldn't affect you one coat, but you should be able to measure it with the instruments you have. You say, wait a moment, we had this thing resonating at exactly 146 megahertz, and now I sprayed one coat, and the one that minimized that change was the Krylon. Of all the spray paints you use, Krylon. We even put 2 or 3 coats. You can barely see it. You'll see it. You'll if you have a nano VNA or a MFJ meter or something, you will see it.
That's what
You already have it.
I
You
didn't
got the
know.
right
That's
stuff.
what I used.
The camouflage green. Yep, that will work. I tell you some other paints, they have little metallic elements and it'll change. You'll know whether there's metallic elements. Your resonance will just be totally off and you just jump it at that point. But Krylon, whatever they put, they do not put any metallic elements.
Non-metallic, baby.
Yep. Even their silver chrome is not even metallic. How do they do that?
Magic.
That's it. Magic. Right.
It's magic. I'm not a paint specialist, I'm not a chemist, but they somehow manage it.
I tell people all the time, says, you want to camouflage some, get some non-metallic paint and just give it a light painting, you know what I mean? Just to blend it in. Either
Yeah. Krylon is the one. And we tried probably 3 or 4 brands and Krylon won hands down.
number one. Yeah.
And it's cheap. too.
Where I live, you have to camouflage, and this seems to work fairly well.
Yep. Camouflage green is a good one. Sells well at Lowe's and at Home Depot.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you, Ed.
So Barry, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, sure.
And coming on early today. Good to see you. Shoot me an email and we'll get the information.
Yeah.
to the tab on
And we'll
it.
see you guys at Pacificon, maybe hopefully next year. Hopefully.
This year, what if some year? Will you be
Yeah, some
talking
year.
or at all at the DX convention, which is virtual or not?
It was virtual last year. I don't usually go to that. That's kind of a pretty well.
It's more of an HF thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of HF. If you saw my HF station, I do. But it's 4 or 5 hours for you guys. It's even more, right? It's about six hours. for you guys?
Yeah, probably 6. It's out of Reno. It's they're not having it in person this year. Maybe later this year, next year we'll get back to semi-normal. So thank you so much.
hopefully. I
Thank
trust
you
that
so
all
much,
you
Ed.
guys have gotten your shots.
Several of us have, not everybody, but yeah.
I hate to talk to anti-vaxxers. They give me more unscientific reasons for not to get the shot.
That's because you have to spray them with metallic paint.
Right. But you know what's convincing of people to get at the shot now? It's not that they're afraid or anything. Wow, you guys, your little vaccine card, you guys can go to ball games now and go. Why can't I do that? Well, you haven't gotten the shot.
Right.
As you live in California.
No, we're pretty safe here. It's down to infection rates less about 1% because the shot rate is very high here.
Yeah, ham radio is the perfect social distancing thing to get us through the pandemic. Ed, you're welcome to stick around or leave, your choice.
Okay, no, I'm gonna go get my coffee and my breakfast. We'll see you guys later. Hey, thanks a
take
lot for
care.
inviting me.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Ed.
you, Ed.
And so the
Appreciate it.
talks you guys have not had, you haven't heard you don't need one on DMR. And then I have another talk on the tri-band, how we did the tri-band antenna. 2
It's
meters.
just been this one and the original one you did back in 2000.
Right. And then, hey, are you guys into this nano? Are you guys nano VNA fans?
Tell them what it is. I'm not sure everybody knows what it is.
Let's say I have one here. Do I have one here? Yes.
But nano meant small, Ed.
Well, this is our new. That's the puppy to compare.
So
it
that's
to.
that's the hernia VNA.
Yeah, can you see it?
HBNA. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 5062. That's the new Keysight. I think it's hey, that's lighter than our 8753. That's for sure.
And what sort of price is that if it was new, as an example? 10K or more?
Under 50, little under 50.
50,000.
Yeah, about a little under 50.
Okay, and tell us about the nano VNA.
But you can get one of these for $60, man. It comes up, let's see if I can turn it on. Get the Smith chart here. You see a little Smith chart there and everything.
Yeah.
And one has to admit,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
$60.
Ed, can you hook it to a computer?
Absolutely. It's got a USB interface.
I like that.
Oh, Wes, you haven't seen one of these?
I've only seen that kit. I've never seen one completed.
Oh, this is touch screen.
Yeah.
It goes up to 1.5 gig. They have a new one that goes up to 3 gigs now. It costs like $80, a little bit more. But for us, one of these is fine, 1.5 gig. You can tune duplexers, you can tune filters, you can tune antennas with it.
Pretty amazing. 60 to 80 bucks compared to a commercial test equipment that
Yep.
does probably more, but for 50 grand.
I tell you what's interesting thing is, it really, a lot of folks, RF professional people, all they need is this. So it has taken away a lot of business from Agilent, a lot. And
Well, fits in your coat pocket, and you
Yep.
get your laptop in the field, and you're 99% done.
Yep. I mean, yeah, there are labs that require a real unit, sure. But I tell you, a lot of people don't, and they can just get by fine with this. I've tuned duplexers at sites with these. They're fine.
What is that? Just explain one thing. What does that do different than, say, your traditional SWR analyzer, your little MFJ or your
Oh, this runs circles
Yeah.
around. This is a network analyzer, not an antenna analyzer. It's a 2-port. So it'll do filters, has a Smith chart display, tells you the real part, true real part and imaginary part. It's also a frequency generator. Well, those did that too, but and it's mostly all on a bunch of chips, very reliable. The software, there was rumor has it that there was at least 4 PhDs written on this. And this is done the concept of doing it this way was a professor in Germany. And they've worked on this for decades.
John Mitchner wants to know what frequency band range those things run.
50 kilohertz to 1.5 gigahertz.
Wow.
Wow.
And then
That's HF to above 1.2. Wow.
right.
Say-
And then
say-
they make one that goes up to 3 gigs it looks the same, but it costs like $20 more.
Say, Ed, what's the name of the manufacturer and the part number?
It's just Nano, NANOVNA. Oh, you guys should know this. This is like a very famous thing now. I mean, it's like the hottest thing in the market for both. Oh, so you have one, yeah. See, Tom's going. Oh, you got the little one, right? You've got the little one.
Who are you looking at?
Tom, W6XX.
Do you want to speak and bring it up so we can see it on your screen?
Yeah, Ed, I've got one. As soon as you said that, I just reached behind me and grabbed mine. My battery's dead. I got to charge it up, but it's amazing. It shows you your transmission pattern. You're on a Smith chart. It's really cool. So if you have a rubber duck, it's going to show you kind of a spiral, and if you have a dipole, it's going to show you something totally different. So it'll show you your resonant pattern. It's kind of cool.
Right. Now, one thing I do recommend is now that they've come up with the 4-inch screen, buy the 4-inch screen. It's well worth the extra $20. Originally it came out with the little one. You had no other choice.
Where do you buy these? Are these Amazon or somewhere else?
Amazon, yeah, buy them on Amazon. Amazon, RNL Electronics, go into QRZ.com, you'll see it come right up. Again, you can
Yes,
tune duplexers with it, filters, antennas. It's a true 2-port network analyzer. So you do have to really understand how S11, S22, how S parameters work, because it's not just a one function SWR meter. It's not an SWR meter. It's a network analyzer, of which a subset of network analysis is S11, which is SWR.
You got to know a little bit more than just the SWR. Yeah.
Yes, I cover quite a number of weeks in my high-speed interface class on just these. So we demand that every student have one of these. They can take it on and give them problem sets and things like that. Yeah, it's amazing. Plus, if you're looking for a good high precision frequency generator, signal generator, it's one too.
Hey, Ed,
So, for $60, it's a must-have.
Hey, Ed, I found it building the J-poles, just a homebrew that you can really find, where you're resonant, you pinpoint the frequency you want, your center conductor to be on the J-pole. So it helps. It's really nice.
Oh yeah. It sweeps the whole thing. You can see for us, it's just night and day. You can just set it to the parameters and you see exactly how much you're off, where you're off. It really saves a lot of time. If it's $50,000, I would question it. At $60, no question. You guys should offer it as raffle prizes.
That's a good idea. It's a good idea. Now, was that an R&L Electronics?
Yeah, RNL, right. RNL's got it.
Cool.
Oh, you
Let's
can't
just
see.
say, that also might be a good group buy. We can check with DX Engineering. Tim Duffy's going to be on next month, but something like that might, we might get enough people that might be worth their whiles to do that and get into some antenna stuff.
Yeah. Again, if RNL's out of stock, just go to Amazon. Amazon's got them.
It was a-
Yeah, very cool. Okay, we're gonna let you go if you need to go have your food and stuff. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Ed. We'll talk
sure,
to
you bet. See you guys at Pacificon, hopefully next year.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. Take care.
Okay, take care. So we'll stick around for anybody that has any other radio-related, STARS-related questions or just want to jabber. We've got 29 people on. I just want to say we had a big turnout today. We had, as of this morning, we had 48 people registered. That was about 7:15 or so, or 7:30, and we got up to 56, and we have 46 plus 48 here. So big turnout today. So great to have everybody on. What sort of questions, comments anybody has about anything radio related or SNARS? Go for it.
Kevin VSR. Can we get the brand and info on that in the chat window? A couple of people have asked.
You talking about the Peter, about the VNA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go look it up right now. I will look and see if we can do a group buy, and it might be worth it if people want to get involved. And so I think it's called Nano VNA.
Yeah.
Barry, can we ask Ed back to give some of his other lectures, particularly the tri-band? And
We can, sure.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, we
good.
can.
That tri-band, yeah. See what it said. See what he's got to say about that.
That'd be good. How did you like? I am curious. How did you like his presentation? And more specifically, was it too technical? Was it not technical enough? Did you follow it? I'm kind of curious on the different levels from theoretical to practical. I'd love a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, he lightened it up compared, like since I've, was it KA7FOO when he came out and gave his antenna theory, all that kind of stuff there. I mean, I was able to follow him just because of that, see what he's talked about. And of course, he really dumbed it down compared to last time he talked, and, I thought it was pretty good. He gave out the right information, how it's made, and you get one of these, you'll see it in effect. You see how it's actually done, and it works quite well. It says it's something I keep in just in case my other antennas doesn't work. I just throw it in the old box for field days, all that kind of stuff. But I thought he well, last time he came on, it says it's good and what's good, but if you don't understand some antenna theory, this can be pretty boring.
yeah, Barry.
The level's too high. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Barry, I looked at some of the drawings and pictures of these antennas, and it was like the understanding light went on just day and night to hear him describe it.
Yeah.
And the resonance and how the resonance worked and everything. That was just incredible.
If I can just jump in, I'm a newbie general, don't really know much practical knowledge. I was not bored at all. I don't have an electrical engineering background or anything, more biology, but I found it really a fascinating presentation and inspirational, if nothing else. Took a lot of notes and have a lot of places to look to advance my own personal knowledge. So that's from kind of a basic standpoint. All of you guys are light years ahead of me, but which is fine. That's great. So just low on the learning curve. This is Tom, Kilo Juliet 7, Tango Kilo Romeo.
Thanks.
87 QXC, FYI, he has, it's a lot of people get hung up on the terminology they use on this stuff. And like I said, last time he came on, he used a lot of terminology and kept people in the dark. I mean, you probably read about it, but you don't use it on a regular basis. So the terminology that he's using, like lambda, wavelength, and a few other names he used. This is if you don't know what it means, you'd have to look it up. Then try to put it together after you've heard his speech. You know what I'm saying? But this one here is actually he had something to talk about and put a little terminology in there which you understand. So from this time to last time, Tom, I said I think it was a better one today. You know what I mean? Because it was
It
layman.
sounds like the feedback I'm hearing from US and Tom and others is it sounds like it was a mixture between some theory, some technical, some practical, so people could pull it together. Okay.
Correct.
I was just curious because I had a similar experience to Wes last time. It seemed really technical. I'm glad we could ask some different questions to kind of bring it back to the practical side because not everybody understands that. Okay, he's quite animated and very passionate in what he does, and it's been. I was just thinking about him the other day. It has been 2017, so great. Glad to have that. What other questions or comments do people have? We got plenty of time today.
Hey, Barry, this is John, November 3, Juliet Whiskey Mike.
Hey there.
Quick question. Are these recordings posted after the fact somewhere?
Yeah, they're going to be on the other ones, and this too will be on the Stars YouTube channel. So if you go to stars.org on the bottom, it's got YouTube. You just click on it, and all three of these will be here. The first one being the business presentation, and then Ed's presentation, and this one. So you can go back.
Thank you.
It's kind of too bad we weren't able to give more time to Ed.
From what viewpoint? From what perspective?
Well, just because people who listened to the first segment, it wasn't included in the first segment. Is there a way we could have more of a long form or just?
Well, let's just talk about this briefly because we've been through this before, not like we can't. We found out, George, that the optimal time for a complete meeting is about an hour. We also find it depends on the speaker, but too long is not as good as too short. So we gave him, the plan was to give him to come on about 15 after, which he did. He talked a little, to give him about 40 minutes. The challenge is people begin to drop off or they have to go. That's why we kind of do the 3 segment thing. Yeah. But I will tell you this, we do
well.
them. Yeah, it's a really good point.
Yeah.
That also means you want to back, as saying you want to learn more.
Yeah, but it worked really well considering you're publishing all 3 segments. That's great.
Yeah. I didn't know the last section is just open and he stuck around for a while, so there's more on there. I could have, in theory, could have had that in the second section, but then it would go to about 9:20. Some people, it's easier just to do that.
Hey, George, I guarantee you, if you want the full bore, go to one of his Pacificon things there. You'll get the full meaning of what I'm talking about. But take notes.
Yeah, some of those, by the way, for him, some of those might very well be on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, it could be.
But that also tells me, George, that you got value in at least you would like him back. I think in general, we try not to have too many speakers back to back, just to spread it out. But it's good to have people to do that. We do the Monday night ham radio night, but that's a little different. It wouldn't, if we had him, it would be more of a presentation. So we'll see. That was really good. Thanks, George.
If you were, I think if you were an antenna builder, one of those guys who build your own antennas, play with is whatever. It says, yeah, I think you get more out of it by talking, going to one of his classes.
I have, this is John Barry. I thought the presentation was great. I really enjoyed it. I'd like to see more. I think that I learned a lot. I'm not necessarily sure I want to go build a lot of these antennas because it looks like it takes a level of expertise I'm not sure I want to achieve. But I learned a lot, and I thought that was very useful. So I would vote to have him back.
Hey, cool. Thanks.
I'd like to hear him talk about the tri-bender. That'd be cool.
We got 25 people on here. People are hanging out. I know Aries has a meeting at the top of the hour. Those that need to leave and probably end up. What other thoughts, questions, comments, whatever anybody have for anybody or the club? I feel like I'm a next pro.
I'm done.
I have one question. Are we going to try as a club to do a group order for his antennas or?
I think so. What Ed's going to do, I think, so 4 years ago, there was a group order option because I looked it up. So Ed's going to send me something and then I will put it out to however we're going to do it. I would imagine it would go in the newsletter and it would also go out to people as a whatever the process is. So yeah. You know, the nice thing about Ed is, he explains it. You can build them on your own, or you can just buy them. Okay, so the answer I would believe is most likely yes. Let's see. David wrote a K6VLH. Get to Pacificon if you can. Meet him in person. Ed and his students sell dozens of antennas there. Yes. I don't know. I think Pacificon is scheduled this year. We'll have to see if it actually happens because of the pandemic. But short of a pandemic, we do have shipping. Thank God for all the shipping companies. We have Zoom, so
Yeah.
lots of good stuff there. Yeah,
But when Pacifica, what that comes in October, yeah.
that's October. I think it's online currently, but my recollection is, we're only in beginning of May, so
That's it. We got a lot of time.
give it some time to see.
I bet you they do.
I'll go look as we speak. Yeah, he's very animated. He reminds me a little bit of and I don't know the name of the actor. There was an actor who was a doctor, MD doctor, that became a actor, and he reminds me just a little of him, full of pep and vigor and
Kim Jong.
lots of.
Kim Jong.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, he was a doctor and he became a comedian.
That's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yep.
Somebody else had a thought. Who was that?
Someone said something. I don't know.
Who said something? We got 23 people are hanging around for some good reason.
I gotta drop off. See you guys later. Bye.
See you, Brian.
Yep. That's right. Got a meeting today. Huh? That's right.
Hey, hello, Paul Tuller. How are you?
Good. I just have a quick question.
Oh, hopefully we have an answer.
Well, that's the third time I've heard Ed Fong speak, and he's a good value for sure. And I have one of his roll-ups like Wes has, and I've used it a lot over the years when I travel and stuff. And I have one of them that's inside of a piece of PVC pipe, and I guess it does both. I'm not sure it does both VHF and UHF. Guess I'll have to try it out and find out.
That or ask him, send him an email and
Yeah,
find out.
I'll send him an email and ask him. I heard him talk twice down in Sacramento when I went to some meetings down there.
Yeah.
And you can learn a lot by listening to the guy. And I'm not, I like the guys that talked earlier. I'm trained as a biologist, know nothing about electronics or very little.
Yeah.
Learned a lot by listening to you guys.
But yeah. Hey, Paul.
But I'll contact him with an email and quiz him about what I have and so forth.
I'll post his email address in the chat here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think these Paul. I think they're UHF. The simple reason we got them when we was really into DMR,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I'm thinking because a VHF would be a little longer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can always get one. You know what I'm saying? VHF.
Well, they're really handy. And
Oh, yeah. It's good to have.
the one inside the PV pipe's about 3.5 feet long he was talking about. So I suppose that's UHF primarily.
Yeah. The other one probably be about 6 foot, maybe just a little bit longer.
I don't have a 6-footer.
Well, that would be
This
VHF.
is 3 or 3.5. It's
But
probably.
his antennas are a really good value, I would say.
They work.
Well, I think at $40 are a good value, and he said he said pull 8 off. It's 20% off, and sounds like he just does a group shipping to us that are in Reno. So I think it would make sense. Those that want to do it, he'll send me some stuff and we'll put it together.
Good.
I think it'd be a good buy. Well, hopefully he'll include some VHF ones too.
Yeah, we'll find out what he has.
We'll see. We'll see. Because I think it's a good buy. This is a good one to have around because it's got the gain. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of VHF antennas that don't have any gain. Or
So in the chat is his email address and also his website. So you can look at that. And yeah, we'll find out what he provides, and then we'll do that.
Oh, someone said Pacifica is on this year. Cool.
Find out what the current deal is,
Yeah.
or at least it's being planned.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I ain't got nothing to do this next year, so I'll go.
Maybe in another 6 months from now, we'll have it. Currently October 15th to the 17th.
Yeah.
I'll bring up the screen share. This is assuming that something doesn't change in the COVID world, you know?
Yeah. Last time I went, I spent a whole bunch of money. Man.
Okay, so this is what it's currently planned for, subject to change, like they said, depending on COVID.
Hmm.
I think they've got a shooting chance of doing it since some number of people, some number of the percentage of the population are wearing masks, and not masks, but vaccinated. So we'll have to see what happens in another 6 months from now. Looking pretty good. So a couple of people have asked me over the last 6 months about NVCon. We have no NVCon. The last one for the Nevada State Convention was in 2019. We decided not to do one in 20, coming out in 19, just because we were saturated and we were maybe looking for another venue. We decided to take at least a year off, and the pandemic came. So
Fluctuating, Barry.
I'm sorry, what?
Might want to get a little closer. You're going in and out.
Okay, so what I said was NVCon happened last in 2019. And then we decided not to do another one just because we wanted a little bit of time for things just to move around and see what happens. We were looking for another location. So we had nothing planned in 20. The pandemic came in 20, and you know where things are. So no plans, period. But there are other things like the Pacificon. Hopefully it'll all happen in person. There is an International DX convention. I believe it's free this year and it's online. So that's the scoop. I just wanted to update people on the NVCon that was never planned for this year.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 16 people hanging around. Who else has stuff?
At Vice, you say it's virtual, you say?
Sure, on Zoom.
The thing is, you miss something there. You might get the lectures in, but no touchy feely, man.
That is correct. That's the idea of social distancing. No touchy feely.
Oh crap.
That's correct.
Well, maybe we'll get a chance get it out of my system come October.
Maybe fielding. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. I hope so.
Anybody else we haven't heard from, or anybody else has some thoughts?
I'm pretty
Time to do it.
Yeah. That's about it. I guess I want to. Hey, Eric, turn on your mic.
What can I do for you?
Have you been monitoring the bands?
I have.
And
Well, I made a few contacts on 40 meters. Now I've moved over to 20, and there's not a lot of activity there.
yeah,
But given my location and antenna, that doesn't mean everybody else shouldn't try. So yeah, there's quite a few 7QP stations out there looking for some love. So yeah, give them a shout.
yeah. I'm on top of guy now, so I want to get off of it and make contact with him. Yeah, for sure. How many people here is on playing on the radio? Come on, guys.
Your question didn't come across. What was your question?
How many people are playing on the radio today?
Now or later today?
Right now or whatever, later today. Yeah.
Later, I'll go later today. I'm not on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got about 3 contacts I can get right here, so that'd be cool. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. What time is it? Yeah, it's. Better have something to eat before I dive in this puppy, because then I'm going to get nauseous if I start having too many contacts.
Looks like we might be at the end of this final call for anything for the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know, Tom, what is that a frequency chart behind you?
Which Tom?
Which time?
Oh,
This time. Yeah, this right here, let's see, this right here is a frequency chart. I had to cut it down in order to put it on a board, but I just thought it was cool. I'm into colors, so I thought, what the heck, why not decorate the office? This is not exactly a ham shack, but I'm still acquiring stuff, and most importantly, I'm acquiring knowledge. That's the, buying the stuff is not big of a problem. It's not that big of a problem, but acquiring the knowledge is a big deal. So I'm looking forward to field day. I volunteered with Jim and plan on schlepping out a lot of stuff around and probably doing some KP and looking over everybody's shoulders. So that's my plan. It's kind of, really haven't had an Elmer in place other than kind of virtual Elmers. So
Cool.
Hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it cost $6 from FCC or wherever I got it from.
Cool.
How long ago? How old is it?
Since I'm a newbie tech as of August and newbie general as of December, it's probably 5 months old.
Oh, okay,
So
it's pretty accurate then.
I think so.
With the new freaks, yeah. Okay, cool. Looks nice. You have put it on a wall. If you had wall space, yeah.
I have to my right, which you can't see, I have a Pony Express chart. It shows all of the Pony Express route from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento. And I understand they're going to be running again this year. And on the new net, earlier this week, I think Barry or Michael, one of the net control operators, there was some guy that a station that checked in that is going to be in charge of the operation on that. So.
And you can use some hams. Go on to the website or look for it. The hams help in different areas.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yep. And it's good to have that going again because it's a pretty popular event,
We're still waiting to find out about the Tahoe Rim Trail. Although actually, no, they are. A friend of mine is actually running a 50 miler she's crazy, but she's really, she's a great runner. She's going to be running a 50 mile. So apparently the Tahoe Rim Trail is going to be on.
Yep.
And I know Aries is deployed on that.
Aries is doing stuff. I just Googled Pony Express ham radio, and this is what I found. So there's a bunch of stuff on here. You can see who to get hold of in different areas. Here's the Nevada. It's done through the Sierra Club. So
Yeah.
I'm going to help out.
Western Valley, hams. Sierra, yeah, hoorah. Let's
That's
see.
cool.
Yes, for sure.
Are you a jarhead, Wes?
No, I am United States Army Special Forces.
Special Forces. Whoa.
Ranger Airborne.
What year did you serve?
In 68 to 73.
Yeah, I was in after the Berlin Wall, 63 to 66 in Germany, southern Germany.
Oh, Germany. They tried to send me there. I said, no, don't send me there.
I know where you went in 68.
There you go. Well, actually, I volunteered. So well, I'll see what the hoopla is. Well, I found out.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, but no, this is they didn't want to send me after my I stayed there for almost 2.5 terms, and
Really?
they
Yeah.
wouldn't let me stay there any longer. He says, no, you got to go. I says, well, I where can I go? He says, you can go to New England, Germany, because most guys that I knew of, because you're not going to take a combat soldier out of the combat zone and put him in spit and polish. You know what I'm saying? I mean that's an embassy station, state, country, and all that kind of stuff. You got to have nice shiny buttons and all those kind of stuff, spit shine shoes.
Yeah, a friend of mine in our complex here, he was a jarhead, and I think he had like 3 or 4 deployments in Vietnam, and he carried around a Prick 25 for each of those.
I know that Prick 77 as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice little radios for FM. I'll tell you what, you should get a lot of skip on there, man.
What was the range on those? I mean, that was
they're about, I say about 25 miles.
25 miles, okay.
It's on the average, but so what you would receive is a whole different ballgame. And when Skip came in, you'd be talking to New York. You didn't even know it.
I used a VRC 12 in the back of a Jeep that I used to drive, M151.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I tell you, the good old days, you know. Well, I guess they're the good old days, you know. They can only assume, right?
We survived, yeah.
I did. So, well, I learned a lot. Trust me, I learned. Besides just taking out the enemy, I learned how to survive and get along with my fellow man. Yeah. So that's about, you know, that you come out with that, you're okay, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Anyway, let's see. Well, actually, I guess I should
I think we're about done. Hey, Eric, thanks for all the help on the website.
Oh, of course.
Appreciate the updates. Seems like we got that working out pretty good there. Behind your right shoulder, that's a Heathkit. What is that? A DX60 in the middle?
Yes. Yeah. And I think I got that at the last NVQSO party. Paid way too much for it. And I still have yet to restore it. No idea if it works, but it's mostly complete. So
It's like, yes. Is that a Johnson on the left? What's to the left of that?
to the left of that is another Heathkit. Hold on, I forgot what that one is. Oh, that's a HX11 transmitter. If anybody wants to trade it for a Johnson, I'm totally open to that.
I inherited somewhere along the way and sold to somebody else at Johnson. Boy, great things, and boy, are they heavy in boat anchors.
Yeah.
And I had an HW16 as a novice, so that's why I had a feeling that was a DX60.
Okay. Yeah, and well, it's a mess, but down below that's an SB101. So I have the whole Heathkit station over there.
Yes, he does. It's work he does.
Yeah.
Plus other stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like says, I don't have room for that stuff. And I said, I played with that stuff, so I know what it's all about. I don't want no more of it. I'm gone. I like this new stuff, man. It's small.
You're missing out. No. I did the first field day on the Heathkit radio. That was a lot of fun.
Well, I'm glad you had fun.
What is the big black box transceiver on the top?
That's a BC348, which does work. And above that, right there, that's a homebrew receiver that I built. And it's meant to be a match for, I can't figure out where I'm pointing, that, which is a homebrew transmitter. Those are from the 1929 ARRL How to Be an Amateur handbook.
Cool.
Yeah, so my father built the transmitter, and I went ahead and built the matching receiver for it, which is a 2-tube, I think two O1A tubes. And the receiver works. It picks up AM broadcast beautifully. So if I had one of those VNAs, I think I could probably redo the coil and get it to work a little bit better, but it's just a standard 2-tube regenerative receiver. So the idea was I was going to get both of those working and get on the, what is it? It's a CW contest on the 31st, December 31st. They do the, I can't remember the name of it now.
Straight key night.
It's not, there's Straight Key Night. Then there's another one that's a pre-1930 CW contest. So you hear lots of chirping and squeaking and yeah. So the idea was I was going to get on that, but as all of you know, when you get into tube radios and wet fingers, it's deadly. And both of those things arc and spark, and it tries to get you. So I haven't actually got them on the air yet.
Is that a big tube over on the top?
That is I 3D printed that. So it was meant, it lights up. Sorry, I didn't know this was going to be a, let's see if
show and tell.
All right, buddy, you open up your, you know.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Hey, ta-da. If you can see it, turn on. So that's a 3D printed vacuum tube, and the glass dome over it came from Hobby Lobby.
Oh, nice.
And that hasn't been finished either. So I need to sand that down smooth and put a nice Collins authorized dealer logo or something on that. And that'll complete my top shelf.
Yeah. So what frequency is the guitar on?
The guitar? Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, that was an eBay special. So that's, I'm into old Japanese guitars from the 60s and 70s when they were copying Gibson and Fender. And lawsuits didn't matter at that point. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's more decorative though. It plays terrible.
He never plays it around me.
No.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna stop recording. Thanks for everybody attending the Q&A session of the STARS May 2021 meeting.